watch porn, what's the problem? If it's not hurting anybody, what's the issue?
I love this one. Okay, so quick little class here. There's something which is called, and this is for the men and the women, but I'll start with the men first. There's something which is called porn-induced erectile dysfunction, which is where a man may masturbate to porn, and what's actually happening in that situation is the neurons in his brain are actually being destroyed. So what happens as it becomes more and more addictive is he starts to break down his ability to actually be aroused by a woman in person. So imagine you have a single guy who's addicted to porn and nobody knows, it's just him and God that knows the situation. He looks great on the outside, he meets a woman. Now, homegirl, she has a porn addiction and she masturbates. Now what happens with her is she will get something which is called clitoral insensitivity disorder, which is the equivalent to what the man will experience. Now what happens with that is that she is then unable to be aroused by a man. So now imagine you've got your single guy and your single girl, they've been doing their things privately, they come together in marriage, they get married. He can't be aroused by her, she can't be aroused by him. They have intimacy issues in their marriage. So I've heard stories of women who have been having sex with their husband, he's climaxed and she goes off to another room to finish her situation because she's been touching herself long enough that she knows exactly how to get herself to climax. And if the guy hasn't, he knows what he needs to do. So I would say, when it comes to masturbation, it really is about how are you actually taking care of yourself. I'm not just taking care of yourself, I don't mean like that. But it's a lot deeper than just the spiritual aspect. It's actually psychological as well.
Edward?
I think that's enough said, but just to bring the spiritual side to it, there's no way in the Bible you're going to find the scripture that says do not masturbate. However, we have biblical principles by which we can make a determination that is not good. So for instance, before one can masturbate, as we've heard, there has to be some stimulant. We know all those things are not godly. And so the Bible says whether you eat or drink, do everything to the glory of God. So anything that you know very well you can't do to the glory of God, then certainly there's no way we can actually say it is right, if I'm making sense. You can't say it is right because, for instance, watching porn definitely does not bring glory to God. Lustful thoughts does not bring glory to God because the scripture tells us that whatever is good, whatever is noble, whatever is praiseworthy, these are the things that we should. And also, looking at a woman that is not your wife to actually stimulate you sexually, definitely should know there's something wrong with it. Look, and I like what you said, and I feel like, what you said is one of the things that we really need to learn because it actually batters what the scripture teaches us. Because a lot of us will go on just on the spiritual angle. The Bible teaches us it's wrong and stuff like that, but we don't know the effect of it even in our marriages. And so I believe that it's very, very important what we've been taught, And so sometimes when you're staying away, you should know these reasons as to why you're staying away. Because the beautiful thing about scripture is that it's for our daily lives, if I'm making sense. So it's not just to help us live in sort of like spiritual world, it's to help us live effectively here on earth until we go to heaven. So I think that's very important that we take a lesson from these.
Can I ask you a question? Because I don't want to, make out like this is some faraway thing. This is something that's happens a lot to a lot of people. A lot of men and women are addicted to porn and have been masturbating for a long time. If they're in that situation, and maybe you might not know if you have yet, but maybe you have that insensitivity, those or conditions, what can you do? Is it something that can be reversed?
It is something that can be reversed. You can find a sexual addiction therapist who'll be able to actually work with you on that. I do have information of a Christian. Yeah, you can, because what's happened is psychologically the neurons have been broken. It's just about rewiring. In the same way it was able to be broken, it's the same way that it can be rewired. And I just wanted to add, for somebody who has a porn addiction is actually rooted in intimacy disorder. So there's a lack of intimacy there. So really like the root of the whole porn addiction or the feeling that you need to do that is because there's lack of intimacy whether that's, and I find this is one of the things that I've oh, sorry. I'm just being, sorry. One of the things that I found was that a lot of people who are in worship circles really struggle with porn addiction more than the average person. And what I've discovered from that is that in the place of worship where there's constant worship, and that's their lifestyle, what happens is there's an intimacy that they have with God more frequently. And if, for example, they're not in that place anymore, they're craving that intimacy, so they will actually go to something else which is actually a counterfeit intimacy and not the intimacy that they've been experiencing with God. So it's been really interesting to see.
Can I just add to what you were saying about fornication and all of that? Like, the Bible doesn't say that we should masturbate, right? But there's a difference between fornication and committing adultery. Fornication comes from the word porneia in the Hebrews. And so porneia comes from extensive sexual like characters or habits like masturbation and all of that. So actually sleeping with somebody doesn't fall under fornication. It falls under committing adultery, because the person that, even though you're not married, the person that you're sleeping with is somebody's wife. So what about the single people? So it falls under committing adultery. So that's why when you look, when God was speaking to the people of Judah and Israel, he said, why are you doing these things? Like, you're committing adultery. He didn't add fornication. He added committing adultery because you're taking someone's wife from them. So I just want